I don't know, I guess for tonight, we're just talking about the community room, right? Not necessarily all the details for his performance.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So, I don't know, I just think someone like Paul, he likes to take a few months to prepare like a big performance. And so that he kind of falls into this idea that Terry had about an artist residency type thing. So I don't know if we would want to make the community room a part of that as like an available space for people to prepare. I was more thinking that that would be in the auditorium and it would be something that people did towards the end of the season. So with Paul doing it in the spring, I guess the community room is the thing because the auditorium will be closed for November, so. That's really all my comments there.
I have one just for being totally transparent, that Paul is living in Johnsonville or Johnstown. So just so you know. Not.
Yeah.
Gary, you had asked whether the use of this room would be covered by our insurance. The answer is yes.
Okay. So, gentlemen of the board, what say you?
Well, I sent out a email, but I didn't really know. So if I'm wrong on this, please correct me. It seemed like last year this didn't happen. He didn't come to the board, or did he come to the board with a request? And I don't recall that ever happening. I just recall the community room being used by somebody. And I found out second or third hand information that it was somebody doing dance rehearsal.
Which I think is what brings it to the board now.
Yeah, but I mean, I want to set this part of it aside, but I want to find clarity. But he did this last year in here, but he never came to the board for permission.
I don't think that everybody who schedules time in the community room comes to the board. I think that the village clerk takes care of the scheduling of the community room.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's how it was.
And that's how it's worked. That's
Yeah.
how it works.
And good, Peter.
Is this exclusive use? I mean, we have HOA meetings, we have, pop-up meetings in here. I mean,
In a sense, it won't be exclusive use because we got the kitchen and the bathrooms here, so
Okay.
that's understood. People are still gonna be using those. And I checked the schedule and there's no conflict with any currently scheduled meetings. I know sometimes they meet during the day, but there weren't any in the calendar on these days.
There's a trivia day scheduled for October 7th to 7th, or October 4th to 7th.
So the,
Oh, okay.
I have to be careful because I don't want to, first of all, I don't want to vote to let the guy use them. But there seems to be a little bit of a conflict here with the, he used the space. He didn't pay us for the space, and he's not going to pay us for the space. But then he'll go out and make a profit on his performance at the auditorium. And last year, all we got was donations.
No.
We don't have to.
We
All
made
the
over
things, yeah.
$1,000.
Okay,
Yeah, so we didn't make money. It's kind of like the book staff.
yeah, okay.
That's how I look at it.
So we share the profits.
No, we actually, when we look at how we hire people, if there's 3 different ways that we can do it. And so we were the promoters of the event. And so rather than getting into muddy water, this was straightforward. Here's what we're doing. Here's how we're doing it. And that worked for that time. This is, I think, a little different where we're going here, but that's
How is it different? He uses the space, rehearses, goes into the auditorium some future date, has a performance, and we get a share of The gate.
Yeah, we took all of it last time,
Yeah, he got 600, we got 1,000.
right?
So I guess I mean, this question is about whether he can use this space, but I'm also unclear as to, are we paying him another $600 to do a show next spring and we're doing this tape thing again?
We haven't made up a contract or anything yet for the performance, so
Maybe it'll be cleaner to make the contract,
that's what I'm thinking, yeah.
have it presented to the board and have the use of the room for those 3 days at no cost as one of the provisions of the contract.
Yeah, and that's why I brought up the residency idea, because it could basically be a framework that we could reiterate based on whoever wants to do a similar program.
And that's where I was gonna go with the whole thing,
Yeah.
at the end was, you know, how are we going to structure this? If somebody wants to come in and use the community room to teach window installation, and then goes out and, you know, installs all the windows we created in the, no, you know.
Yeah.
How do you make a distinction between,
Yeah,
and we do have a nonprofit thing. But how does the nonprofit, you have to be a nonprofit to do this. Correct?
I don't think so.
no, oh, and for the.
I believe you do.
Oh, for the community room?
Yeah.
Oh, for the community room, I don't know.
No. Community organizations, local civics group, and not-for-profit organizations.
Yeah, I think in my mind, it would be ideal if people could use the auditorium, like with the residency thing I'm talking about, it would be ideal if they could just use that space. I guess the hard thing is that it will be cold in November, so.
You can't, yeah.
Yeah, so I guess if he really wants to do it in November, this is an option. I don't know how the Methodist Church would work, but that's also a large space that you could contact them. So
You could also contact the Episcopal Church, they have that room.
I thought about that too, their community
That's
space.
a fairly good sized room.
Yeah,
It's like this one.
so,
Yeah, but this has a good floor, I'm not sure what
It's
those
true.
do for.
I don't.
This floor's okay.
yeah,
I'm slightly confused actually by this request also. Does he want Wednesday and Thursday, Friday and Saturday? Which is 4 days, or does he want those 4 days for all of October and all of November? Because the way this is written is he wants it 4 days a week for 2 months.
yeah, is that,
That is my
Is that his
understanding,
request?
but
okay, yeah, he didn't actually give me those days, he's just been talking to Susan about it. So.
I don't know if I'm ready for make a decision on it.
Right,
Well, I don't, I mean, there's no proposal to,
There's no proposal to work with. I mean, I don't have any problem with using the room.
we need
but
to
I'd like
have
to
a
see-
draft agreement for the board to approve that would address that as. one of the-
what's the first week he wanted to start in October? It
doesn't
just
say.
says October. Why don't I'll take the rest of this month to write up a contract and pick a date for his performance. So that a few weeks before the next meeting, we have that figured out, because I think that would make more sense before we just decide,
That would definitely make more sense,
yeah.
Yeah. So,
Would
but
that
we're
work?
not rejecting it out of hand.
no,
No,
Yeah, that's somewhat press.
so we'll just say pending, a performance date. And a contract signed by Paul.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that would be the most appropriate way.
Okay.
Cool.
Anything else? Thank you, David.
You're welcome.
Enjoy.
I'll stay for a little while.
Treasurer.
Our financial update, at the last meeting was reported that CHS submitted the 22-23 AFR and began conducting fiscal year 23-24 monthly reconciliations. The update to that is that the Office of State Comptroller requested a correction on the 22-23 AFR, which is being made, and work proceeds on fiscal year 23-24 monthly reconciliations. So work is continuing to get us updated back on schedule. Item number 2, at the end of each fiscal year, the fire department is given a payment that we call the fire department leftovers. And it's calculated by subtracting all of the fire department associated payments from the sum of the payments made to Round Lake from Ballston Spa and Malta in the same fiscal year. And what I've got below that verbiage here is an example from 2023. These are all expenditure codes that we use for the fire department, personal services, equipment, maintenance, rent, fuel, shared station rent, insurance, bonds, etc. And there's an item right there in red, $27,000 that I want to call your attention to in just a moment. So at the top, you see Ballston Spa and Malta paid the Village of Brown Lake a total of $1.136 million, and the fire department spent just over $1 million. So last year, we delivered to them $131,000 and change from this fire department leftover calculation. But as will happen, I have discovered that in fiscal year 23, I made a mistake by treating that $27,000 in red as a payment from the fire department to an outside source, when it was actually a transfer within the fire department monies. So it didn't ever leave anywhere. It shouldn't have been subtracted from the total gross from the total income. So in short, we owe the fire department $27,000 in leftover payments from the end of last fiscal year. That was my mistake.
$27,000 sick for the last year.
It was transferred to other, so the money that is in those fire department codes goes to, that goes into the village general fund. So we have it, we should have gave it to another, yeah. So on the back side of the page, following the same process for fiscal year end 23-24, and adding the additional $27,000 from fiscal year end 22-23, shows that the village owes the fire department $277,322.32 in leftovers. And the chart is below. Ballston Spa and Malta total earnings from there is almost $1.3 million. Again, total spent was 1.04. That gives 247,000 left over to the fire department, plus the correction from last year gives us a grand total of $274,904.17. So I'm asking for a resolution to transfer from the village general fund to the fire department equipment reserve account, increasing a 2300.1 fire equipment reserve cash by $274,904.17, decreasing a 9120.0. That's the UFB account by the same amount.
Second.
Discussion?
What happens to the excess money, chief?
So it goes into what we call there's a line item, it's basically the account, the dummy account per se, because it all sits in general checking, but it's equipment where we call capital reserve. Right, so that's usually what we use, that account is solely for the funding and future funding and for apparatus, et cetera, large purchases.
Okay, and that has a tendency to accumulate.
It grows quickly. I usually, like, for this coming year, I have budgeted like $225,000 directly to that account.
It goes
right off the top.
even quicker when you buy a truck.
Yeah, exactly.
Right, that's what I mean.
At the cost of an apparatus today at $1.3 million, you know, I have stepped up what we would put into that account directly without even underspending, just directly to between $200,000 and $300,000 a year now. Right, so that comes right off the top, right? So.
Okay, Tom?
Yes.
Jason?
Yes.
Eric?
Yes.
Item number 3, the village DPW superintendent still plans to retire this spring. In anticipation of that event, we have a temporary worker. But we want to keep up DPW. We have a temporary worker who we'd like to bring on as a permanent DPW employee. And so we've done a little searching and we found somebody to pay for his pay and for his insurance. So a resolution is requested to make transfers as described below to fund the employee through the end of the fiscal year. I'm happy to, I think I need to read through these officially. For the rest, do I have to read through all of these?
No, you do not need to read through all
Okay, so, so I guess, every place that there's a variety of places that we're decreasing, funds, that's the upper batch of codes, and the bottom batch of codes is all pay codes that would go towards this employee's pay and, insurance. And these are accounts that, except for one, they're also used by other village, DPW members.
Is he, I don't know, I guess we can say, where is he on the ladder in terms of salary?
If, well, my resolution was somewhere. Make a motion to hire Josh Johnson for full-time DPW employee at 22 per hour.
I think when we, yeah, that's it's the lowest of the
Oh,
workers,
yeah.
by about $2, by about $3 an hour.
Okay, and he'll have the option of buying into the health.
He'll have, he'll be just a permanent employee, but we're just not bringing him on quite as high as maybe we would like to under other circumstances.
And we should tell these new people that there's state office retirement.
Yep, that's requirements in our onboarding package.
And deferred health, and these people, let them make a choice, but let them know it's out.
Yeah, I know that he's eager to join in our insurance, and there's some other things he's aware of.
This plan that we came up with includes benefits.
Okay.
And as Eric said, Johnny's still looking at retiring in the spring sometime, so that'll be his salary gone, so.
But I mean, I've met Josh and everything I've heard about him is good news from everyone. So, the young guy who's enthusiastic, great.
As an example, one of the things that we're taking money out of is the water line, a little bit, not a whole lot. But you'll notice some of the fire hydrants have been painted, so it's sprucing up things like that. That's an example. We got to pay attention to the auditorium, scraping and painting the auditorium before the windows fall apart. That's part of it. Painting in here in the winter time.
No, I don't disagree.
There's no shortage of projects, believe me, because I've had lists of projects I wanted done for years that just never seem to get done, so.
Okay, so I have questions.
Mhm.
$22 an hour, there's roughly 2,000 hours in a year.
Not 2,000 hours, because we're on
You do in 1980.
well, we are in week, this is week 38 out of 52, so we're talking.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, so this goes to the end of fiscal year in May.
But they're $40,000. They're.
No, there's over $7,000 just in insurance. I guess we have large insurance things. I think, it's $1,150 for an individual to get medical and then.
Right.
And we pay 75% of that, so that's.
Right, so those total costs of employment, so there's $40,000 in pay, and then there's gotta be.
No, $40,000 includes all of it.
Okay.
30 and 10 is roughly.
Okay, so this is the prorate.
Yeah, yes.
That's the
Right.
price.
We changed his salary as of Monday and started insurance as of Monday. This is.
Okay, so then
we will-
if we hire him, that means we have to pay for him next fiscal year. Do we know what his cost is for the next fiscal year for the full year?
I have not made that calculation. I guess we're also looking at John being gone, and so whoever steps into his position won't be making the kind of money that John's.
Although we will be hiring a new John of some sort.
Well, yes,
Who will take that?
someone has to do his job, yeah.
Okay.
Ideally, that would well, I don't know about ideally, but one scenario obviously is just coming from within, right? That's why.
Right. Okay. I'm with you.
All right, do I have a second?
Second.
Question? I,
Oh,
a
you
very
did.
short motion, yes.
Second.
So he's starting full-time Monday, is that?
He's been full-time, but he had, but it's full-time temporary, where he doesn't have access to the healthcare and
Okay.
and such.
Yeah,
And we've kind of been using money from not having TJ. So this is, you know,
Cool.
we like him, we want to keep him.
yeah.
Away from where we see.
I know Susan had talked about giving him like 15 hours for cleaning the auditorium. I don't know if that would
Yeah,
be,
I talked to
is
him
that still
about
gonna be
that.
part of it?
Yeah.
Okay. That's all I had to add.
Okay.
You second.
Second, okay. Jason?
Yes.
Tom?
Yes.
Eric?
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you all. Correspondence. Correspondences. We wrote a letter to the Office of the Inspector General. Dear Inspector, more often than not, people contact your office for complaints or problems with their mail. I'd like to take this opportunity to express appreciation to our Postmaster Amy Herrick and Post Office Clerk Aga Khan for their dedication to delivering mail to village residents. And it goes on expressing our gratitude for their prior to having them both as permanent postmaster and post office clerk, we had multiple temporary post office staff filling in over the course of 3 years. Each had their own style, set of rules and regulations to follow. Amy now stepped into a very unorganized post office, and we applaud their efforts to organize and ease the tensions that existed between residents and the post office. We are grateful for their patience and understanding over the last year and are happy they are both here. They have become an important part of our community. So that being sent, and the clerk report. His last day to pay village taxes is September 30th, after which unpaid taxes will be re-levied to the town of Malta. Food pantry items were delivered to Jonesville Methodist Church on Wednesday, 9/4, in connection with the upcoming zombie walk. Food pantry donations will be collected through 10/17 and will be sent to Lightworks Community Action. The village has lost a number of friends and loved ones recently. Memorial services have been or will be held for Bill Ryan, Lois Frederickson, Lance Spalholtz, and Karen Cameron. Well, Karen Cameron's partner, I guess. Sincere condolences. Fred Severs gave a wonderful presentation August 28th at the auditorium on the fire department, past and present. Attached is a handout that was distributed, which includes information on who they are, who they serve, and what they do. Additional information detailing emergency responses, number of volunteers and support members, training for volunteer members, and the cost of running the fire. Very enlightening. Thank you, Fred. And please update your contact information. Tom Peterson has a new email for the law office. Thomas Peterson 456@gmail.com. Correspondent approval of minutes. We have a motion to approve the minutes of August 21. So move. Second. Second. Okay, discussion. Tom?
Yes.
Jason?
Yes.
Eric? Yeah, you were here.
Yeah, it was 0%. Yes.
Yes. Motion to accept the minutes of September 4th. September 4th, we were all here. We were all here. Everyone here. Let's see.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
Second.
Discussion?
I was not here or something before. The previous one was for the August, I think.
You sure?
Yeah, it was on vacation.
September. Oh, were you on Zoom? You weren't on Zoom on that one?
So,
Okay, so we will amend this. So Eric was absent. So, motion to
Men,
amend,
I
except with the,
mean,
that change. Discussion? Tom?
yes.
Jason?
Yes.
Yes. All right. All right. Approval of abstract.
You got it.
The treasurer was provided a September abstract for approval, which includes August prepaid invoices and September claims. The total for September abstract is $119,098.51. It is to be approved per fund as follows: A fund general, $100,106.38. F fund water, $15,489.80. E fund sewer for $502.23.
There's a motion. That was a motion,
That was-
second,
Second,
discussion? Tom?
yes.
Jason?
Yes.
Eric?
Yes.
Yes. Village attorney, any words of wisdom? Tom?
Pearson,
Any words of wisdom?
wisdom,
Yes, he had an offer, to purchase the Coshburn property to the east of Ames Avenue for $10,000.
And will this put this issue to bed?
Yes,
I will move a motion to purchase that parcel of land for 10,000 using parkland funds, thereby dedicating it as parkland.
second,
Discussion?
So I missed it on the meeting last time. Are we gonna name it Koshorn?
That is not.
okay, and after you.
I'll see one.
Okay, right. So discussion? Who seconded that?
I did,
Okay. Discussion? Huh?
yes.
Jason?
Yes.
Eric?
Yes.
Yes. Anything else?
no,
Okay, I've got a couple quick things. There's an auditorium fundraiser this Saturday. If you see Scott, he's carrying tickets around with him. You can also get them on the auditorium website, right?
Yep. That's the link, that's the right one.
And tents are up, looking nice down there. The electronic waste collection day, October 19th, 9 to 1. Further information is included in the links that I sent out via email on all these three things I'm talking about. Paint collection day, September 23rd. Saratoga Springs High School, again. Further information is available on the email that I sent out. Village trustees. Anything?
Nothing for me.
What happened to speed bumps? We're gonna order some. Shh, why? Don't bring those up.
We have some, and I wanted to repaint the white lines that are fading. And then I got into, do we paint or do we try to get the stick on pressing things? And I've been trying to get information from other towns about that. And I kind of lost sight of it. But we do have some, couple new ones sitting at the garage.
Until next spring.
Yes. And we should have the two radar signs going on by the S turns by on George in front of the Zim Smith. and on Gold, Washington, before it turns, not Washington, yeah, Washington. Oh, Gold. Gold, where it turns.
Radar stuff.
Yeah, I got a grant from the county to get.
Well, you know, they said, but for rate, what are they gonna say?
They just tell you.
Just tell you how fast,
They tell you how fast you're going.
Yeah.
Oh, those things, oh,
Yeah.
okay.
I know, I was confused for a second.
What's going on, Washington?
yes,
White House, near White House? No, on the north side?
It's just enough.
not much,
Clickers.
yeah,
Washington turns to Goldfoot.
yes, right around,
It's
yeah.
going on Washington or on Goldfoot?
It would be on Washington,
Near Dixie's house?
probably right across from Nancy's house.
Yeah, okay.
It's, you know, before you hit the turn, and when
Yeah,
you're slowing
yeah.
down,
Yeah.
and knowing that there's a pedestrian crossing.
You didn't
Yeah.
want speed bumps, so instead we had a radar.
Hey, I'd rather have the radar. My van drags on the speed bump, so I have to go around them.
So are these the ones that were contract or a company manages and?
No, unfortunately, no. It
So
doesn't give
these are just the
automatic
ones
tickets.
These are
Oh,
just the
yeah.
ones that give you the speed.
Yeah,
Okay. So,
and they collect the data too, so.
Oh, that's cool.
okay, so I have two random things. I'll go with the easy one first. There's a bag of dirt laying over by the sunflowers. It's been laying there all summer. And we have that picked up and thrown. Whose it is?
You wanna bet?
Well, want to bet?
Yeah.
Christine.
No, I mean. You wanna bet that it's there?
Oh.
Whoa.
Whoa.
I think I got it almost old.
Ryan picked it up today.
That's bizarre because I didn't even ask about that for a while. Okay, so then the next question I have is that lighted stop sign. Does it actually serve a purpose? Especially if we're gonna have the speed things there.
Well, it's a
People
different,
complained about it for a while, and I was just wondering if we thought it was actually effective. Some,
it's
as
hard
with
to know.
everything.
It's hard to know if it's effective.
Okay.
I mean, that thing's gotta be there. 8 years,
Been pretty durable.
yeah.
That got put in the very first village meeting I attended.
That's right.
Before I was on board here.
It was your suggestion, wasn't it?
We'll name it.
Maybe time to,
Jason, stop, sorry.
maybe time to share the wealth, maybe and move it somewhere else.
What's, is it because it flashes red?
That's annoying. It annoys people who live there over.
Yeah,
Oh,
And yeah, then Molly's talked to me about that for a long time. I mean, it's like literally, and I mean, lights flashing in your house, you know. Especially in the winter when there's no trees, when the leaves are down, so. All right, I'll see what's involved in moving it and maybe put it on George in Burlington.
And then you'll have complaints, make sure you face it,
From here.
Towards the church.
don't face it by accident, but
No, face towards the church.
church, yeah.
Wait a second.
You're out of order.
Then we'll put a speed bump in front of your house.
Yeah, I'd like that too.
Yeah, if we don't like somebody, you get the speed bump.
Yeah, put one there. I love it. They have restaurant people going down my street at 30 miles an hour.
Okay.
All right, that's it. Anything else for the good of the order?
But, just as a follow-up to something that Peter said. If we're gonna start thinking about what we're gonna do with, Wood Road. Excuse me, Harold High. We did have a plan to, or we had a lot of discussions about, making a couple of these streets here one way. And it seemed like, I mean, I'm not saying it's the crisis, but there seems to be a lot of sense, for example, in making the western part of Cole go one way. And you can barely get a car down. And, you know, I mean, we should be kind of following up.
And Matt and I have been threatening to get a committee together and look at. But we just haven't done that yet.
And there was supposed to be a committee for reviewing stop signs.
Oh, yeah, because we were talking about, if you go down to, by, Ruggles, there's a stop sign on one side and then there's not short, and then there's no stop sign and then there's.
There's actually quite a few intersections where there's nothing at all.
Yeah,
Right.
and the question is, do you want all these?
Do you want all the stop signs?
And we can't use the smaller ones, but I already checked that. Peter?
I have I'm meeting an appraisal person for the Koshburn property on Friday. Do I can that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, public comment, anything else? Sharon?
Well, first of all, I want to say thank you to all of you for allowing me to be part of the auditorium and do the programming and experiment for the last 3 seasons. I think that we've learned a lot, and I'll always be open to discussion about what things really worked. One of the things that I learned the most about was the opportunities that building really has. Everybody thinks that, we don't have a lot of resources involved in it, but there's a million things that can be happening there and happening well that complement the community and how we do things here. And I think that we really should pursue those conversations. One of them is, we did that little incubator thing with Paul Santee, and it really kind of worked. There's not a lot of time, but we do have requests all the time from theater companies and performing arts kind of organizations to use the building. Either one, they've been practicing somewhere else and they want to do a performance here, or they want to practice here and do a performance somewhere else. And we do have great equipment for people beginning projects. And I think that's one of the biggest things that I've learned in these 3 seasons. I think too, rentals are another big opportunity, and I think that it's time to update the rental agreement, the use policy, and from what we have experienced over the last 3 seasons, there's some things that could change for sure in that. But I do want to say thank you, and I'm open to discussion, because that building means a lot to me too. And thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. What are you done?
Monday.
Yeah, she's not counting the days.
Is she working on those group? No.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I just want to say something related to the way it's been handled. No secret I've been here longer than anybody. All these committees, the chair people, it's always devolved into backbiting and fighting and what's they called?
Internecine.
When, since David's gone on board, since you've had it, we just have, I know that it's not as smooth as running ship, I understand that. But the stuff that's become public, I haven't heard 1/10 of what I used to hear about the operation of the auditorium, so thank you both, thank you especially.
Thanks.
For making our jobs easier.
Yeah,
Right?
yes.
Yeah.
That's the important thing.
Yeah, I think over the last 3 years, you laid a really strong foundation going forward, so I'm really thankful for that. Mhm.
We know your number.
Yeah, you'll be the best consultant we have.
I mistakenly jumped over the reports. By the way, so chief,
So thank you for letting us host the event for the
Yeah.
fire department. Pat Seaver did an awesome job of presenting a backdrop and history of the fire department, where we were, where we are. I think it was well received and a lot of good information. I know Fred put a ton of time into it, so we'd like to formally acknowledge him and thank you. And also thank you guys for letting us be there and have that event. So for the month, we had 52 calls. So overall for the year, we're still down a little bit. We're keeping pace, but I think we're still gonna end up down probably about 10% from last year, which is a good thing, right? So less time to have out on the road. We had about 580 hours of total man hours for training this past month. So, you know, between just training, that's not counting calls, but just training and miscellaneous activities with the firehouse. It was about 580 man hours. And that's really kind of about it. We had our trail drill up here on the Zinsmith earlier this month and seemed to go well. I don't think we saw many people. We were kind of living by Goldwood, so and I think that went well as well. So that was really about it. For knock on wood somewhere by fairly quiet month.
Thank you. Peter, code enforcement?
Well, the project's moving along slowly, but the house across from the tennis courts on James Avenue will be finished next week and go up for sale. Came out really nice. It's worth taking a look at inside. It's really came out pretty good. We have 2 special use permits expiring. And I don't, you know, the terms of a new special use permit are different from when these permits were issued. So there could be some issues in dealing with the special use permits, but we'll get through that.
Are they special use permits for Airbnbs?
Yeah.
Okay.
One of them, you know, one was up in Hillman Loop, and you know, they've been allowed to do it for 6 months out of the year and live there 6 months, and now it's going to be 3 months out of the year and has to live there 9 months out of the year. And the other one is the one on Ames Avenue, which he'd never lived there, so he's done as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, and these people will be notified.
They will be notified this week.
Okay.
And that they're done. They could renew, both of them could renew, but they have to meet the new terms.
Right. So the guy on Ames, should he not want to continue as an Airbnb, he'll be either an absentee owner or he'll have to sell the place or whatever he chooses.
Correct. He's aware of it. I mean, so,
Okay. Thank you.
we had a couple of structural engineers in this week to look at the auditorium, look at the bell tower. And it's actually gonna be easier than they thought it would be.
So were the drawings approved for the bell tower?
Well, they're gonna come back with another set of drawings. They did submit drawings. But after the structural engineers were there, they'll give us some stamp drawings.
Okay, so are they not putting it up this year?
They will. He said they'll, as long as there's not snow on the ground, they'll put it up. He said they typically will work until January.
Okay, so there's an invoice here that says payment to Round Lake Bell Tower upon approval of architectural drawings and elevations based on the original something. But they haven't been approved, so why do we pay them?
Because I wasn't aware they weren't officially approved, I thought that we had the drawings and we got the invoice, I guess.
Okay.
That's it.
Thank you.
No animal control, since the last time I was here, written 2 summonses on retying. I got a comment about stop signs, not that I can do anything about it, but the other night, one of the nights we working at the auditorium, I pulled into the parking lot, county parking lot, and I knew this car was not gonna stop. And he didn't. We're through the stop sign at Washington Avenue. I turned around and I followed him through the stop sign at Burlington and through the stop sign at Haven. Turned left on Route 9 and out of here, traveling in excess of the speed limit. Enough that there was a big space because I didn't want to follow him. But something, we need something with these stop signs. I was hoping with me right behind him, that he might see that light bar and that and slow down. But no,
Did you happen to get the license plate?
as I said, I didn't want to drive as fast as him to get close enough for that. We'd be probably going 30, 35 miles an hour. I don't want to get caught doing that in the village.
Boy, that was bad, huh?
Yeah.
Well, the speed limit is 20 miles.
I know. The bike path's 25.
About 3 weeks ago, a car came down Curry Road onto George Avenue doing 80 miles an hour, ran every stop sign. And he was flying, this guy was flying, and about 5 minutes later, there was it looked like a plainclothes police car with its lights on, chasing him. I said, they'll never catch him. This car was flying through the village.
And it seems to be getting more and more.
It does.
If I had siren or something, I would have went after him, but I'm not going, you know.
There's the truck.
That fire truck has a siren.
Well,
And lighter, and red light, and red.
I also gotta have the authority to stop him. If I was a constable or something like that, I could have stopped him, but, I'm not gonna get myself into a problem that I know I'm into.
No, yeah, you definitely shouldn't, no. All right,
Last bit is tree committee. There's a pruning workshop being given tomorrow by arborists that we're working with. A group of volunteers are going to be there, and some of the village crew is going to be there as well. Learn the proper technique for pruning, and we're focusing on young trees, smallish trees. And so with that,
Just one other question, maybe the chief has to answer. Did you say, in addition to Fred's verbal presentation, there was some type of written,
there was a handout.
There was a handout there, it is.
is there other copies of that available somewhere?
There used to. I only have a couple, but we could ask Brad maybe to email, and then we could distribute it to the village via email maybe,
Yeah,
because he has the document on his computer.
Yeah, that would be great, because I think we could just use our email list, because I wasn't able to attend this summer.
I know, and I did record it on video, I'm just taking time to get it up because it's a really large file.
Yeah.
all right, public comment.
About the light on the flagpole. I know Sue was working on that, but. I just view it as,
Thank you for the
it
reminder.
needs to be, that's kind of the rules.
All right, I'll ask Johnny about that tomorrow. Get in touch with. Did the electrical ever get done?
well, then you're not gonna have a light.
Yes, I know, but
Wish we do an electrician.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It could be helpful.
all right, I will entertain a motion to adjourn. So moved. Second. Aye.
Aye.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
We have anything? No. Thank you.
Sure.